I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the fact that what would happen if you decided you wanted to go on a canoe trip and you went to the outfitters, and once you got there you realized, oh my word, there are actually 5 different kinds of canoes. So which one do I know is the best for me? So I'm going to do a brief explanation about the different kinds of canoes there are. First of all, we have the aluminum canoe. Second of all, we would have a fiberglass. Third, we would have a Kevlar. Fourth would be a Royal X. And then fifth would be wood. So how do you determine which is actually the best canoe for you? Well, we'd start with the aluminum. I don't know if it's better just to rent or buy, actually. I don't know what your ideas are, how much you're willing to spend. But those tend to be very heavy. And sometimes can be somewhat dangerous, I guess I would say. You know, for example, if you do hit a rock, you can dent the side of the canoe in and that kind of thing. Sometimes people say, oh, it's not that big of a deal, you just hit it and then you kind of keep going on. And because aluminum is so flexible, you're actually able to just bend it back out or pop it out. So that's the aluminum. Royal X is a little bit different. Again, it's very heavy. It's rubber, so it's good and flexible. But at the same time, if you are to hit something, for example, some rocks or the shoreline, it's going to bounce right back. But the cost for that is fairly expensive. Well, I'm not exactly sure. I've never purchased that or used any of those, so I'm not exactly sure on the cost for that. Kevlar, which would be our third, most people tend to gravitate towards Kevlar. It's very expensive. It could be possibly $2,000 or more for each canoe. But, oh, is it light and it's just glides through the water. It's so easy to portage with. So that's something to keep in mind with that. As we move on to fiberglass, sometimes heavy, tends to not be as expensive as some of the other ones. Pretty durable. Well, I guess it would be kind of comparable to Kevlar. But the one thing you have to remember, you could kind of pretty easily repair this one if you wanted to. I mean, if it's to bend or something, you could kind of fix it pretty quickly. Our fifth canoe, talking about wood canoes, those are wonderful. I have a friend who actually built his own, and they're beautiful. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They're absolutely gorgeous once they're done. And it's something that he could build it custom to him and his wife, and you know, he could make it accordingly so that when they sit in, it fits them perfectly. If they're sitting in the front or the back, they know exactly how it's going to work out for each of them, and it's kind of measured to them. It's not good for anyone else to use, of course, because the physical measurements of someone else are very different than them. And it's been quite a while, I don't know, 15 or 20 years since he made that, and it's still fine, and he just loves it. I mean, again, it's just beautiful, the wood and how it glistens and how you can see the different grains and the different layers of wood. It's incredible. I can't even explain how beautiful it is. And then they have kind of a weaved seat in the front and in the back versus just like a metal plated seat. And those are the preferences that they had. For me, out of the 5, I would have to say that because aluminum is cheap, we use that quite often. Fiberglass, you know, Kevlar, yeah, but I haven't used that too often. I've never experienced the wood boat. So trying to figure out what's the best match is very important for you. So when you go to the outfitters, it's really important to ask them the questions that you have and discuss with them before you make the decision as to which canoe you're going to use.